Greetings. Welcome to the National Signing Day podcast for marching bands. Hello to all the students, teachers, band directors, family, and most importantly, parents to this special podcast to inform the world what band your scholar will be a part of. This podcast is brought to you by the Marching Podcast and all of its sponsors. Signing Day podcast, you may now take the field.
Welcome to the 2017 National Signing Day podcast for marching bands. I'm your host, Joe Beard, and happy to be of service to you. We appreciate all those listening to this podcast through iTunes, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, our website, our blog, or wherever you are on the interwebs. At the end of the broadcast, if you decide you like the show, then we appreciate a donation to the network, if you feel so in your heart, of course. Just simply go to themarchingpodcast.com and click on the donate button to help improve the show and help build our scholarship fund. This podcast is presented to you by the Marching Podcast and all of its sponsors. We hope you enjoy the show. We are honored to bring this podcast to you for our third year in a row now. We have some great scholars chosen to be a part of this family, and they are already turning over the investment and making us proud here on the network. I'll repeat our scholars for the sake of part 2 of this podcast. In 2015, our first year in doing this, we had Manuel Powell from Nansemond River out of Suffolk, Virginia. He was the drum major, and he called on the show for the 90 Degree Show. Manuel chose Jackson State University, and he's now the saxophone section leader, so we're really proud of him for that. Next is Diamond Frazier out of Memphis Central, our very own Ollie Liddell as her band director, and she announced on the network that she was going to Tennessee State, and she did well in her first year there, and she marched clarinet, so we were very, very happy for her. Last but not least, we have Andy Morea, straight out of Compton, California, and representing the Centennial High School. Shout out to Manuel Castaneda, the band director there at that high school. We actually talked about Kendrick Lamar donating some money, giving back. And we will be talking about that very topic with our scholarship recipient. So we hope you kick back and enjoy the conversation. Shout out to Andy, shout out to Diamond, and shout out to Manuel. We're really proud of what you're doing, so continue to do this. And we announced in our last podcast a couple weeks ago, now Michael Washington Jr. out of Shreveport, Louisiana, and Woodlawn Leadership Academy. So shout out to him. He's a drum major there. Another drum major here getting on the network. But shout out to you as well as we introduce our female 2017 recipient this year with the Marching Podcast. In this podcast, we meet Imani Jones. Now, this podcast is going to be different because Imani is not in the band, but her circumstances why we started the network in the first place. So I thought it would be good to select her as our female recipient for 2017. I don't want to ruin the conversation we had, so I'll wrap it up more at the end of the podcast. I met Imani at our annual academic bowl hosted by the Pyro chapter of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. We always meet a special student there. And for the listeners, the academic bowl, what that is basically we have a list of questions just like Jeopardy, and the questions are on various Black history, African history, American history, geography, a lot of stuff about historically Black colleges, a lot of great trivia these kids should know. and the winners get laptops and other great things. So it's a really good thing that we have going on every year. Well, this year we met Imani there. I believe her team made the finals, and I can't remember if her team won or not, but I know she was at least in the finals. And in the final, each student stands up to say what they're doing or what they participate in, what grade they're in. And for seniors, they stand up and say where they're going to college or what they decided if they're going to major in something. Imani stood up and spoke. She was well spoken and said I believe she got into like 15 colleges, or I know at least more than 10. And she began to say where she wanted to go to school. Now, after she made this announcement, I went to her and introduced myself and said that I was going to connect her with some good people. Well, over time, things changed since that day, and I really wanted everyone to know her situation. And we hope to provide a solution at the end of the podcast. Also, in this conversation, we touch a little bit on our public figures and our celebrities in the community. You can email the show at marchingpodcast@gmail.com, tweet us at marchingpodcast, or follow our blog, blog4.themarchingpodcast.com. We hope you enjoy the show. You're now here with the Marching Podcast and got another really, really good guest. This is a conversation I really, really want to have. We want to welcome our 2017 scholarship recipient, Miss Imani Jones. How you doing today, Miss Imani Jones?
I'm doing very well, Mr. Beard. How are you?
I'm doing well. Really excited to have you on the show, and congratulations about being selected here for the network. And we'll tell
Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah, no
Happy
problem.
to be here.
Yeah, no problem. We will explain to the listeners how you got here and everything, but definitely an interesting conversation I would like to have. And I want to put out what's happening here so we get more eyes and more support for what we're trying to do. So let's get right into it. Ms. Jones,
Okay.
Where are you from?
I am from Watts, South Central California. I was raised in Los Angeles, moved out here to Riverside, and I attend now Ramona High School.
Okay. Now, are your folks originally from California? Your parents or like your grandfather? Is it a long line of you guys here from the West Coast?
Yes, there's a lot of us here from California. My mom was originally from Watts, California, Los Angeles. And my dad is from New Orleans in Louisiana. We got a little bit of family on the southern end and the West Coast.
Since I've moved out here and I see somebody black, everyone's got either a parent or a grandparent that's from like Louisiana, Texas, or Mississippi. I figured because of how I met you and everything that you had some southern influence or whatever. Do you like Riverside better or do you like LA better? Which one do you like?
Well, as far as coming back to LA to have fun, LA, but Riverside is toned down a lot.
Right.
And it's mellow, and I like that about it. And so I'd have to say I love LA, but to live, I like Riverside.
Even though I'm a transplant, I felt the same way. Like, it's way more chill out here, and I think it's a little bit more affordable to live. But everybody,
yes, it is.
And everybody, their mom in LA though, and like the traffic was off the chain. Like I was, that was part I couldn't get over.
But I know hearing from my mom that that traffic pretty bad in those roads. That's all she keeps telling me.
Yeah.
They're building it up. I heard though.
Because of the football teams coming. They trying to clean it up a little bit.
Yep.
And I think
bring up that value.
Right, and I think they want to have the Super Bowl here in like 2021. That's what they shooting for. So yeah, they putting a lot of money into cleaning it up, I think. What high school did you say that you go to?
I attend Ramona High School.
Ramona High School. And is that in the Riverside School District?
Yes. It's in the RUSG School District.
Have you participated in any extracurricular activities there at Ramona High School?
Yes, I have. Right now, Throughout the 3 year or the 4 years I've been there, I've participated in a lot of programs, one being Lunch Buddies, which is guided towards the special needs kids who go to Ramona. Basically, the students come together and interact with them, and show them that this is who we are and we're here for you and so on. And then Link Crew, which is guided towards helping incoming freshmen we accommodate to their needs coming in and teaching them the way of high school. We show them around, we give tours, we play games with them, just get them real comfortable coming into high school because it's a new experience.
Nice.
And then I'm also in Habitat for Humanity, which is linked towards another organization, which we've painted houses and did gardening work. And I know that they build houses for people who are in need of that kind of shelter, just don't have the means, but they just need a house. I'm also involved in BSU, Black Student Union. I am the president of Black Student Union, and my sister is the vice president of Black Student Union. We are twins, so, operating BSU together. I've been in there for 3 years. We are guided towards coming together and teaching each other about ourselves and learning to accept one another's differences and likes and just come together as Black people and understand one another. Build one another up.
That's a very good answer. Very good answer. Really
Thank
cool.
you.
So it sounds like you have a lot going on there at Ramona High School. So you did.
Yes.
I heard you say that you have a twin. Is that correct?
Yes, I do. We look alike, but we have different shades. I'm darker. She's lighter. Growing up, my mom never made a difference between the both of us, and that's another thing we discussed in BSU is the shades and how we're not hating on one another. We growing together and we love one another no matter what color we are. And so my mom would always say that she has the best of both worlds because there is no difference. And me and my sister didn't see a difference. We just loved each other and we knew that we were sisters and that we were twins, and that was it.
Need to write music and drill? Get it on the field. Outfit your band. Keep your administrator happy and still have a life. Encountering drama in the process, ain't nobody got time for that. Let Block Band Music assist you with musical arrangements and drills to fit your band, and also the equipment, gear, and accessories to keep the visuals, music, and marching on point. Contact blockbandmusic@gmail.com and see how this worldwide minority-owned business can uplift your band.
Hello, this is Emmanuel Powell, one of the 2015 Marching Podcast Scholarship recipients and 2016 Jackson State University Saxophone Section Leader. And you are now listening to the Marching Podcast Radio Network.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
my mom, she's raised by her grandmother, and so whatever she instilled in us was from her grandmother, who was 54 years her senior and was raised in Shreveport, Louisiana.
Okay.
So,
Okay,
yeah.
cool. Well, our other scholarship recipient, his name is Michael Washington. He's from Shreveport. So,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's really cool. So you got both couple folks from Shreveport here in 2017. You sound very intelligent, very articulate and whatnot.
Thank you.
So this makes me say, okay, now where are you planning to go to college? So what colleges were on your mind, or when you were thinking about attending colleges, where did you think you wanted to go?
Well, originally when I was applying for colleges, I wanted to go to an HBCU. And the HBCU I wanted to attend originally was Howard University. However, things didn't work out. I got accepted to Clark Atlanta University. I was very excited about this. It's a wonderful opportunity. I know that Atlanta, Georgia is a mecca, especially in that area where Morehouse and Spelman, just a mecca of opportunity. And so when I got accepted to Clark Atlanta, I was just very excited, and I just couldn't wait to go there. And so that was my choice. Going off to Clark Atlanta was going to be my choice.
Okay. And I'm glad you said that because that's how I started the network. When I moved out here, there wasn't the same influence and excitement about black colleges. So I met a girl, her name is Melita Wilson. She's a Delta, and she marched in the band at Bethune-Cookman. She's out here now, and she started at HBCU campus bus tours. And so she takes folks from out here in this area back down south and gives them that opportunity. Nice. Yeah, so I felt like I should start the podcast about marching bands. I'm trying to meet people like you so that we can provide some help so more folks from the West Coast can have the black college experience, because I think a lot of folks, because I think a lot of students do out here, but it's so far, or the money, and there's so many other parameters involved. I'm trying to eliminate as much of that as I can.
I know that being in Black Student Union, some people, you mention HBCU, and they're like, what is an HBCU? It's not surprising because, like you said, the connection is not as deep as it is in other areas. Plus, there isn't even an HBCU out here in California. So
the closest one is Wiley College, and that's in Texas.
In Texas.
Yeah, and that's also where the Great Debaters took place.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have a friend who's going to Wiley College.
Oh, okay, cool. That's exciting. I know you said you got accepted to Clark and you wanted to go to Howard. Where all did you apply?
Yeah. I've gotten accepted into Virginia State University, Tuskegee, Clark Atlanta, Central. I've been accepted to 14 colleges. Okay. And I'm pretty sure about 6 or 7 of them are HBCUs.
Okay. What was your experience there growing up out here in California to make you want to attend a black college?
Well, my cousin and my uncle both went to Grambling State University.
Oh, snap.
And yes. Yes, and so they're alumni of the and my dad went to Southern University.
Oh,
so
Lord.
He's an alum. Yes. And so there is an HBCU connection in my family. Plus, being in BSU, what it's had to offer me, I just wanted even more to be within the atmosphere of an HBCU. And so those are the influencers that really influenced me to want to attend an HBCU.
What's really, really funny is like, okay, so now I was like, okay, let me find out what's her HBCU experience. And pretty much you said you got a family member that went to Grambling. And that's all you need to say right there. Grambling folks, Grambling, love them some Grambling, boy. So everywhere they go, Grambling. So, and then you said your pops went to Southern. They're more of like a band rival. I went to Jackson State. So Southern, Southern was like our blood rival. And I have a couple of good stories about them. But of course, Grambling and Southern then play each other in the Bayou Classic towards the end of the year, like after Thanksgiving or something. So that's one thing that I would hope to try to help you do, is at least experience a football game.
Yes, that would be nice.
Oh, yeah, because, being in a band, we talk about bands so much, but the actual football game experience or a homecoming or something like that would be really good for you to see. All right, so now we are ready to announce to the world where Miss Imani Jones will be going to school. This is the moment now folks are waiting for. Virginia State, Tuskegee, Central State, Clark. So I usually deal with 4.
Wilberforce. I got accepted to Wilberforce. There's a few more. I just can't remember them. I really can't.
Can I get a drum roll, please? All right, Miss Jones, where will you be attending school this fall?
I will be attending this fall California State Chico.
All right.
Double Time Entertainment. Our passion is music and promoting HBCU marching bands as well as high school marching bands through high-quality movie videos and photos. We have worked with BET, Yamaha, Ludwig Honda Motor Company, and been featured on CNN and Lifetime Network's series Bama State Style. We also help and orchestrate Battle of the Bands with marketing and promotions, and also became the official media team for the Queen City Battle of the Bands in Charlotte, North Carolina. Join Double Time Entertainment on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, and now new on Periscope. Music lovers are noteworthy.
Hi, everyone. This is Joe Beer, the Phantom Podcaster and owner and founder of the Marching Podcast. I want to tell you guys about this website, theedge1pro.com. That's DAEDGE1pro.com. This is the website of my man Garrett Edgerson, the media director for Southern University's Human Jukebox. If you want to see great bands and a good idea of the HBCU experience, log into theedge1pro.com. Garrett has photos and videos of events on campus, along with parades of bands of all levels. So check out the Edge One Productions and theedge1pro.com.
Hello, this is Diamond Frazier. I'm a member of the Tennessee State University Marching Band. I'm a part of the clarinet section. And I also was a 2016 scholarship recipient from the Marching Podcast. And you are listening to the Marching Podcast Radio Network.
So I wanted to talk because I'm excited that, well, for one, that you got into so many schools. But I did want to talk about the fact, because we talked about this before, and that's why I wanted to have you on the show. I wanted to talk about students from the West Coast and, you know, wanting to attend historically black colleges, but the distance being so great. So I know that Chico was not your first choice. I had a music scholarship, I had a band scholarship, but my parents still were spending money. Like, it wasn't just because I had a scholarship, like, stuff was free from my parents, you know what I mean? They still had to send me money. And my father's from Jackson, so I had family there. So it wasn't like, you know, I was able to save here and there for that. Do you have any family in Atlanta?
I do. I have an aunt there. She lives out there.
Because we're excited that you're going to school and very intelligent and so, but we definitely want to make sure that more students here on the West Coast, you know, if they want to go to a HBCU, then they're going. Like, it's no question about it. It's no worried about the distance. What program or what do you think would help to try to get more students from the West Coast to get to a black college?
People to come down from the HBCUs and actually show them that there's opportunity out there for them and that they're actually here for them. Just come down to these high schools and let these kids know that we're here, come and apply, and you're going to have family and connections for the rest of your life.
All right. There's a Black College Expo in L.A., and there are sometimes representatives that come out there. I know Clark was here because the band director was here.
Yes, he was.
So that's there. My only thing, I guess, is providing, because like you can have a full ride, but I would like to make sure there's some type of like transportation voucher or something involved.
The commuting and also the communication for people on the West Coast is a little difficult, and I think there should be a support system there because they have to wait until a certain time to contact them because of the business hours there. And so that makes it very difficult to get in touch. And also, you know, have people like Dr. Dre return investments to, not to USC, but to the black colleges. You know, he donated $30 million to USC, which is fine, but you got plenty of other historically black colleges that need the money too. And so $30 million would definitely have helped Clark Atlanta or Southern or Jackson or any of those HBCUs. And so I think that's another thing that needs to happen also.
Okay, so very, very good point. Reason why the studio audience was clapping, because I thought about Dr. Dre too. It still kind of affects me a little bit what happened, because I was like, Dad, you Dr. Dre, but like you don't know nothing about black colleges? Like what? Like
yeah,
that's crazy.
My mom was feeling the same way. She was like, what is going on? What is going on, Dr. Dre? Come on.
Yeah, seriously. So that really tripped me out. It also, even LeBron James has stepped out on social issues, and he's done other things too. And I understand why he did, but he gave $40 million to University of Akron, and it like upgrades their Wi-Fi system on campus, so the students have, and I think it helps with their tuition or something like that. And so the main thing I thought about, I was like, well, what about Wilberforce, or what about Central State? You know, like how come, you know, LeBron is so black, but he didn't do that, or made sure that wasn't one of the first things he did.
And it's kind of like what you were saying earlier when we were talking about the different shades, you know, with the brown paper bag. It's because a lot of the time we're conditioned to believe what society is giving us. And so what we're not doing is thinking for ourselves that, wait a minute, let me invest in my community, put that money back in my community so my community can get to where we're always trying to get to. And so that's just the conditioned mindset. And so what we need is education on financial and just economically trying to get to where we need to, because the only way we're going to actually hit somebody in their pockets is if we get to where they're at already.
Right.
And so that's another thing we need.
Right, because I'm glad you said that, because a lot of people think that black folks have this buying power, and that if we put our money in certain places, it's like, no, it's the investment that's important. You know, like just like you said, if we invest like in our youth, where we're going to say, hey, everyone and living in this area is at least going to know computer programming, they're going to know code, or they're going to know how to draw maps and something. So then that actually turns into actual productive citizen.
Dr. Claude Anderson has said and has written in his books, Powernomics and Black Labor, White Wealth. He's been outlining this for years, you know, trying to let the black community know. And so now it's just up to us to actually give it to, or just accept this knowledge and take it further. And that means actually, and I've always thought that if we start young, when we start with kids, then that's how we change. It's when we start as young as our children, because then our children is growing up with this kind of mentality, and so they will take us into the future.
Just like we are investing in basketball or in other forms of entertainment, we can do the same thing for like reading. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So that's really good, really good. You really got your head on your shoulders, really good head on your shoulders. And I hope, honestly, and I mean, not to hate on Chico or nothing. Hey, I'm sure it's a good school, but would really love if someone heard this and we were able to help you. But definitely, we are definitely going to set up the Imani Jones transportation voucher, where it's about to be everybody in the Pacific time zone will be able to go to a black college, and it will be separate. Their transportation thing will be separate from their scholarship. You know what I mean? Like the money to get them there, that's one thing. But then, and it would be cool. We could actually reach out to like Southwest or something, and then it's like every summer and then every Christmas holiday, you have so many people apply or so many people put in for their voucher, their transportation voucher. That's what we're gonna call it, the Imani Jones joint. That's what we're gonna call it.
There we go. Boom. Now my mom said boom.
There. So really excited for you. Do you have anything in closing?
First of all, I appreciate you inviting me here today, allowing me to speak my mind as one of the young people in this community, asking where I wanted to go, how I'm going to do things, you know, giving me an opportunity to follow my dream so I can do that for the next, you know, just keeping it going. And I appreciate this.
The Marching Podcast Network is a network of podcasts with a purpose to inspire, educate, and show positive images in our community. Our network produces podcasts about college marching bands, business, health, finances, college preparation, spirituality, instrumentation development, along with one-on-one interviews with strong role models in our community. Looking for a podcast network that educates and inspires to make our world a better place? Then listen to us. Check out our website at themarchingpodcast.com. Tweet us at Marching Podcast or follow our blog at blog4.themarchingpodcast.com. The Marching Podcast, changing the world through positive interaction.
Hello, this is Andy Moreira, and I am one of the 2016 Marching Podcast Scholarship recipients. I would like to give a shout-out to my Euphonian section back in Arkansas and Pine Bluff. A shout-out to Duran, a shout-out to Bianca, a shout-out to Omar, a shout-out to Gio. And you are now listening to the Marching Podcast Radio Network.
We're back, everyone. At this time, we will hear from two of my esteemed colleagues/mentors to give Imani some uplift, as we say. One is the great Melita Wilson. We talked about her in the podcast. She's the owner and founder of HBCU Campus Tours, one of the greatest ideas ever, where she takes students from this area back down south to have the HBCU experience, and she prepares them to apply to HBCUs and all schools in general. And shout out to her. She's now Dr. Wilson. She completed her doctoral program at USC, and we're really proud of her on the network. So shout out to her earning her doctorate degree. And secondly, we have my frat brother and another mentor of mine, Jelani Bakari, who is well connected in numerous areas and has many titles, and also serves as the undergraduate advisor on the campus of UC Riverside for Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. Jelani is one of those people that knows someone at every school in the country, and I'm not sure how he does it, but we're happy to have him as a resource here in the Empire. Okay, Imani, this one's for you.
So, Imani, if I can share just a few jewels that have been shared with me along my journey, which hasn't been one of always or getting what I wanted, but has allowed me to make sure that I stay on that path no matter what. And so what I would say to you is, set short and long-term goals that are attainable not only daily, weekly, but monthly. Keep people in your ear that encourage you to obtain these goals. And lastly, don't let anyone else's fear persuade you from achieving those daily, weekly, and monthly goals. Because at the end of the day, it's not what you had to go through, but it's how you endured what you had to go through. And that's the most important part. And know that you have a village that loves you and will support you. And I will say this, a closed mouth will not get fed. I definitely learned that at my HBCU. And so if there's something that you want and there's something that you need, definitely reach out to your village. And I support you and encourage you 100%.
I first would like to congratulate you on being a graduating senior at Ramona High School in the lovely Riverside, inland Southern California, and to congratulate you on your admission to Chico State, which is up in Northern California, very, very beautiful, one of the 23 CSUs, California State Universities, in the system. I'd like to tell you to take advantage of Chico because it does have an excellent graduation rate. It doesn't take a lot of money out of your life for housing, for books and food. It's a very reasonable cost institution. But what makes Chico even more interesting for students is it provides you an opportunity to work, to have interns. It's a bubble. Chico is a community within the community. So the campus is a vibrant and integral part to the Chico community, which you can add and become a part of. Please get in touch with Vicki Bass in early academic outreach, and she will be more than happy to take care of you. Just tell her you're from Riverside and Jelani Bakari sent you. And always understand that everybody who goes will not make it. It'll take a lot of you to see your other friends not make it and decide that you're going to be the one that brings back the certificate, the degree, the prize. Congratulations once again. And as one of my favorite mentors said, forward ever, backwards never.
All right, everyone. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor or a patron to the Marching Podcast, please contact the show and we'll give you the criteria so we can start to pub your business using our platform. We'll play your commercial, we'll post your website on our blog, and we'll help send out your information through social media. So contact us so we can help build your business.
Hello, this is Manuel Powell, one of the 2015 Marching Podcast Scholarship recipients and 2016 Jackson State University Saxophone Section Leader. And you are now listening to the Marching Podcast Radio Network.
Hello, this is Diamond Frazier. I'm a member of the Tennessee State University Marching Band. I'm a part of the clarinet section. And I also was a 2016 scholarship recipient from the Marching Podcast. And you are listening to the Marching Podcast Radio Network.
Hello, this is Andy Moreira, and I am one of the 2016 Marching Podcast Scholarship recipients. I would like to give a shout out to my euphonium section back in Arkansas and Pine Bluff. A shout out to Duran, a shout out to Bianca, a shout out to Omar, a shout out to Gio. And you are now listening to the Marching Podcast Radio Network.
We've come to the end of our podcast. I want to say shout out to Kevin Hart and Michael Strahan. Those are the last two celebrities I thought about that donated money to HBCUs. The band specifically, as we were talking about public figures and celebrities, they donated the money to the Ocean of Soul there at Texas Southern to watch and parade Michael Strahan into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Richard Dent, I believe, did the same thing for Tennessee State. And it really shows that the bands are real ambassadors to our schools. So supporting them is very, very important. Check out the website and donate what's in your heart to themarchingpodcast.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. Thanks to you for listening. And remember, the lectures you deliver may be very fine and true, but I'd rather get my lesson in observing what you do. See you next time.